All right, so let's go through a few examples on solving rational equations. I'm gonna try and make this quick. So I already have my equation bar up from earlier, but again, if you don't have it up, you can go to Insert, Equation. Pops up your equation bar. From there, I need a fraction, so I'm gonna go, you see these different options here. I'm gonna go to this fourth one here, has a square root symbol, and that's my fraction. If your font size gets smaller than 18, it's gonna be hard to see, so make sure it's at least 18. If you want it bigger, that's perfectly fine by me. And I'm just gonna type this in first. 3, and right arrow key gets you down. I figured that out last time. Minus 8. I'm gonna type it all in one equation. You can separate it, it's up to you. 7, oops, down arrow does not work. 2a plus 1. So this is what your homework's gonna look like. You're just gonna have a few problems and you're just gonna start typing underneath each one. Now the first step is to factor. I'm looking at it, nothing to factor. Okay. So the second step, okay, if you didn't watch the other video, let me go over here real quick. So here's our steps. You can pause it and read them. Factor, domain, cancel, LCD, multiply by LCD, multiply anything left, simplify, solve, check for extraneous roots. That's what we're gonna do. First thing I did, I rewrote my equation, mostly so I can just copy paste it. But also I would have factored it there. Nothing to factor though, so I'm gonna move on to the next step, my domain. What makes this 0? A positive 8. So x cannot be 8. What makes this 0? Well, if you have a little trouble, you can solve it on paper. That'd be negative a half. So those are two things x can't be. If you have a simple fraction like a half, it'll automatically convert it for you. Or of course, you could insert an equation and have negative a half. So x cannot be 8 or negative a half. So if we get either one of these as our answer, it'll be an extraneous root. Can't happen. Now the next step is to determine your LCD. So my first denominator is a minus 8. I got to have that. It doesn't duplicate over here, so 2a plus 1. Okay, that's it. That's my two denominators. Just shove them together. So now our next step is multiply by that LCD. That's why I copy that equation. So I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to paste it right there. Command or Control C, Command or Control V, copy and then paste. I'm also going to copy this, Command C, and I'll paste it in front of each term. So I'm going to go to the left of this term here, and Command V. I like to do it inside of the equation bar because if you don't, it makes it bigger. Just personal preference. And I Command V in front of that one too. And then I'm going to cheat. I'm going to copy this whole thing, Command C, Command V down below. Now we got to cancel stuff out. On paper, if I were doing this, I'd draw a line through a minus 8, 2a plus 1, 2a plus 1. Unfortunately, in the equation, text color highlighting and cross-throughs don't work. So can't think of any way to cross it out. So you just have to realize that a minus 8 cancels with a minus 8. That's going to make that a 3. 2a plus 1 cancels with 2a plus 1, so that's going to make that a 7. And if you're left with a fraction for some reason, you did something wrong. The reason we multiply by the LCD is so that we don't have fractions. Next step is the distributive property. I'll copy it, even though it's not going to help much. So 3 times 2a, that's 6a. 3 times 1 is 3. 7 times a is 7a. 7 times 8 is 56. Well, it's negative 8, so it's negative 56. All right. And then I'm just going to look at it. What kind of equation is it? No squared terms, nothing but linear equation going on here. So I need to get my variable on one side, my constants on the other. So I'm going to subtract 7a from both sides. That's going to be negative a. Equals, I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides. That's going to be negative 59. So a is 59. Done. That's it. If I check, 59 is not 8 or negative a half, so we're good to go. Another example. So again, my first thing I like to do is rewrite my equation. 4/3 minus 7/n. If you accidentally get out of your equation, you can just go left arrow key back into it, or you can just make a new one. And I'm going to factor this. 1 over, notice I have a 3 here and a 6 there. So I could write this as 2 times 3. That way I'll see, oh, hey, I already have a 3. I don't need to duplicate it. If you want to, you can just think about it. You don't have to actually write this step out. If I have a 6, I don't need a 3 because 3 is inside of 6. Entirely up to you. If you want to see what your LCD will be, factor your numbers as well. In fact, prime factorization would be best. So like for this 9 down here, I'm going to say 3 squared. Anyway, let's copy this. We're in a minute. So what can x not be? And I said x. I should have said a, whatever your variable is. My variable is in here. N cannot be, well, this doesn't matter. There's no n there. This doesn't matter. There's no n there. This is the only n, and it's got nothing with it. So n cannot be 0. If it's 0, the denominator is 0. My LCD, I need a 3. I'm going to go ahead and put it in parentheses. I need an n, and I need a 2. Notice I already used this 3. I have a 3 over here, so I don't need to duplicate it. That's why I like to factor it. So that's, I'm going to simplify that, 6n. So I'm going to command V to put that in there. I'm just going to type it out at this time. 6n. Multiply each term by your LCD. 6n. 6n. And then come down here, let's cancel some stuff. We got, and you could, yeah, if you want to, you can leave it as 3 times 2, so you can see, oh yeah, 3 cancels here. But if I divide 6 by 3, I'm left with 2. So here's where I'm, you know what, I'm going to do this part over here so you can see the numerical working of it. Because hopefully you're doing this on your paper. So here is how I'd write it anytime now. Let's see, there it is. So I'd say, okay, my 6 and my 3 cancel out. 6 divided by 3 is 2. My n's cancel out. And my 6 and my 2 times 3 cancel out. So that's what I do. I like to cross it out, actually. So then I'm left with 2 times 4 times n. Well, that's 8n. Negative 6 times 7, well, that's negative 42. And then that canceled in times 1 is n. So that's the cancellation process and simplification process I like to do on paper. Easier to see, in my opinion. 8n minus 42 equals n. So that's what I'm going to type here. 8n minus 42 equals n. Yep. So it's again linear. So I'm going to get my n to the left, 7n. My constant on the right equals 42. So n equals 6. Divide both sides by 7. And if I look, n can't be 0. That's not 0. We're good to go. Next problem. Yeah, I don't want there. Okay. So I'm going to rewrite this thing first. New equation. 13 over 3w minus 3 minus new fraction bar 1 w minus 1 equals fraction w over 9. Now I'm going to factor this. So I just recopied it and I'm going to factor it out. So this has a GCF of 3. I'm going to factor out that 3. Oh, look, those are now the same. That 9, I'm going to rewrite it as its prime factors. Well, 9 is 3 squared. That's what I'm going to write. Oops. Oh, that doesn't work in here. So I'm going to have to put one of these. Here it is. 3 squared. So apparently you can't format inside of an equation, which is inconvenient, but that's what we got. So you can also insert a power button. Now, the reason I like to do this is because, see right here, I have a 3. I have 2 3s right here, so I don't need to put a 3 and a 9. I can just do a 3 and then an extra 3 from this one. So let's write down what my x, well, w cannot be. We'll make this 0 here a 1. We'll make this a 0, still a 1. We'll make this 0, it can't be. W cannot be 1. Okay, LCD. Oh, I need that 3 from this one. I need that W minus 1. I don't need to duplicate the W minus 1, so only write it once. It's the same thing. Here I have a 3 to a second power though. So I need another 3. So I'm going to write that 3. You can do a second power. So this should be your highest exponent. If I have a 3 squared, and a 3 to the 22nd power, you need 3 to the 22nd power only. Whatever you got. And yeah, I'm going to simplify that as 9w minus 1. Do not distribute that 9. You don't want to distribute. You can simplify your numerical values, that was redundant, but don't distribute. Now again, copy this thing. Let me just go down here real quick. So I copied that thing, and I need to also copy this thing, my LCD. Stick it in front of each term. Oops. And again, here's where I go on paper and do the cancellation. I'm also going to copy that. Not on paper though. The W minus 1 cancels. So that W minus 1 is gone. That W minus 1 is gone. Also, 9 divided by 3 is 3. So I'm going to rewrite this as 3 times, and then that 3 is gone. So this is just a 13. This whole thing. There we go. Get out of there. Sorry. There we go. Then here, my W minus 1s cancel. So apparently I can't go all the way, or we'll highlight that fraction. So I keep leaving that parenthesis. And I'm left with just a 1. So 9 times 1 is 9. Well, it's actually negative 9 times 1 is negative 9, but you know, whatever you got. And then this 3 squared and this 9 cancels, so I'm going to get rid of that. And that's just going to be a W. Next step, distribute, simplify, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So 3 times 13 is 39. Feel free to use a calculator. W times W is W squared. Am I inside of I am inside of an equation. I could get out of this equation, make it easier to format, but so for that. Oops. So I'm going to replace this with this power button, W squared, oops, squared. And then minus 1 times W is W. There we go. Now look at what you have here. this equation is quadratic. That means I want everything on one side. I like my quadratic term, my squared term, to be positive. So I'm going to leave this over here and make this 0. Well, 39 minus 9, that's just 30, right? So 30 is equal to that. So I need to subtract 30 and make that 0 equals w squared minus w minus 30. And again, quadratic formula on the calculator. All you do is mode 5, 3, type in your coefficients 1, -1, and 30, and it's going to spit out to you 6 and -5. If I type it in correctly, -30. Six, -5. Now, how do I know that? Because I factored it in my head real quick, easy stuff. Those are both going to be W's to start. And 6 and 5 subtract to give me 1. Which one needs to be negative? Well, this is a negative, so the bigger one. So if I set these equal to 0, I get a -5 and a +6. So W plus 5 equals 0. Where's tab works? Tab works. Use tab. W minus 6 equals 0. So if you solve this, W equals -5. W equals 6. Check it out. W cannot be 1. That's not a 1. That's not a 1. Both are good to go. I'm going to leave it like that and be done. So there was no extraneous root on that one. Even though it had 2 answers, so it's possible to have more than one answer. All right, so let's look at this one. And I write down my equation. 3c minus 2. Oops. Now I'm going to go ahead and factor this. C squared minus 4c, that's c times c minus 4. Equals c over c minus 4 minus 1. Okay, I'm going to copy that for in a minute. C cannot be. Well, if I look at this one, it's just a C. See, it's factored. We look at each term when it's factored. So C cannot be 0 for that one. For this term, it can't be 4. Same thing here, it can't be 4. Nothing to worry about here. There we go. LCD. It's going to be this thing right here. C times C minus 4. And this duplicates, so nothing to worry about there. No denominator to worry about. That's it. Paste that. Copy that. Stick it out front. Oops. Can't click there. Oh well. All right. So that's what I got. I'm going to copy that. Do some cancellation. So again, if I do it on paper, I'd strike through and all that good stuff, but I'm not doing it on paper. So this cancels with the whole denominator down here. So I'm just left with that 3c minus 2. So I'll write that 3c minus 2. This right here cancels. I didn't grab the parentheses that time, dang it. That c minus 4 in the numerator cancels this c minus 4 in the denominator. Now with c times c, which of course I'm going to rewrite that as c squared. I'm going to distribute this. So it's C times C is C squared. C times -4 is -4C. It should be the same thing as right here. That one's not going to change anything, right? So I'm just going to get rid of that and rewrite this as, put in parentheses. Well, let me not put in parentheses. Let me show you something. C squared minus 4C. And if you put that, you're going to mess yourself over entirely. Put that thing in parentheses and look what's going on. That's minus C squared minus 4C. If you don't put that parenthesis there, you'd have had a minus C squared minus 4C, when actually it's going to be minus C squared plus 4C. Completely different problem. So copy paste that. What we're doing here, I'm going to distribute. So a whole step just for distributing. So that negative times C squared is negative C squared. Negative times negative 4C is positive 4C. See the difference? Completely different work. All right, that parentheses will go away. Not all of you. Command Z is a very useful tool also, and it does. Control Z Windows users. Copy, paste. So yeah, you didn't have to show this extra step. If you wanted to, you could just do it right here or right here. C squared minus C squared cancels. That's nice. So now I left this nice little linear equation. Negative C equals 2. I subtracted 4C from both sides. I added 2 to both sides. C, that's not a C. C equals -2. Let me check. It's not a 0. It's not a 4. We're good to go. Done. End of story. All right. Sorry. X plus, wow. What is it? Huh. Plus 6. Let me try that. Huh. You can hit enter and it goes to the bottom. That's handy. X plus 3. So as you can see, I don't usually do this, so I'm discovering new things with you guys. Equals 2 minus, can't factor that. That's a 5 and a 12. No common factors there. And an x plus 3. Aren't they lovely? All of our denominator is x plus 3 and x plus 3. So that's our LCD. We're not there yet. X cannot be -3. What makes it 0? -3. What makes it 0 in the denominator? No, nothing. There's no denominator there. What makes it 0? -3. Already got it. LCD. X plus 3. So now I'm going to copy paste. That's my LCD. Let me copy paste that. Of each term. Now, let's cancel some stuff. Copy paste that again. X plus 3 is canceled, so this is gone. Don't highlight that parenthesis. I'm just left with x plus 6. That's going to be 2x plus 6. The x plus 3 is cancel here. So that's going to be 5x plus 12, but be very careful. That's minus 5x plus 12. We need to distribute that negative. Okay. Oops. Hey, there we go. Copy that. X plus 6, 2x plus 6. Let me go ahead and just distribute that. It's going to be negative 5x minus 12. Sorry, I'm losing my voice for some reason. La la la. That's better. Combine your like terms. I'm just going to show another step. Combining like terms, 2 minus 5 is negative 3x. 6 minus 12 is negative 6. Gonna get my x's on the right. Come on the left, sorry. 4x equals negative 6 minus 6 is negative 12. Divide through, I get x equals negative 3, and I'm done, right? Wrong. X cannot be negative 3. That can't happen. So you can strike through that if you want. Command Shift X or format, etc. But your answer would be no solution. But I don't want that. Strike through. So strike through. There. No solution. So that's it for the examples, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and end it there. Oops, I pushed it in the way.